Nigel Farage strategic gambit, Reform UK and the future of British politics. Nigel Farage, a towering figure in British politics and one of the most polarizing leaders of his generation, has once again shocked political observers with a series of bold moves. From reshaping his party, Reform UK, to issuing provocative statements on international affairs, Farage is positioning himself as a key player in the evolving landscape of British politics. His actions, though divisive, reflect a calculated strategy aimed at addressing the growing disillusionment among voters with mainstream political parties. Reform UK's resurgence, a new vision for Britain. Reform UK, initially launched as the Brexit Party, was designed to pressure the government into delivering on the promise of leaving the European Union. After achieving its primary goal, the party rebranded itself as Reform UK, with a broader focus on domestic issues, including tax reform, public sector restructuring, and immigration control. Farage's leadership has ensured that the party remains relevant, even in the post-Brexit era. A recent and noteworthy development was the appointment of Andrea Jenkyns, a former Conservative minister, as Reform UK's candidate for the newly established Greater Lincolnshire mayor position. This decision not only boosts the party's profile, but also signals its intent to challenge the political status quo. Jenkyns, who lost her parliamentary seat, described Reform UK as the party of the brave, emphasizing the need for bold solutions to tackle the country's challenges. Farage's recruitment of Jenkyns highlights a key aspect of his strategy, attracting high-profile defectors from established parties. By providing a platform for disillusioned politicians, Reform UK aims to present itself as a credible alternative to the Conservatives and Labour. Expanding influence in Scotland, capitalising on discontent, Farage is not limiting his ambitions to England. Reform UK has made significant inroads in Scotland, where disillusionment with traditional parties is widespread. Recent opinion polls suggest that the party could become the fourth largest group in Holyrood, overtaking the Greens and Liberal Democrats. This is a remarkable achievement for a relatively young party, and it underscores Farage's ability to tap into voter dissatisfaction. In Scotland, Farage is appealing to both Unionist voters and those disenchanted with the Scottish National Party, SNP. His messaging focuses on the failures of the SNP's governance, particularly in areas like healthcare and education, while also criticising the Conservatives for their inability to offer a compelling alternative. By positioning Reform UK as a fresh voice in Scottish politics, Farage hopes to disrupt the entrenched political dynamics in the region. A controversial stance on the Ukraine conflict. Beyond domestic issues, Farage has drawn attention with his outspoken views on international affairs, particularly the ongoing war in Ukraine. In a recent interview, he expressed skepticism about Ukraine's ability to win the conflict against Russia, arguing that Western military and financial support is prolonging a stalemate rather than securing victory. Farage's comments have sparked controversy, with critics accusing him of undermining Western solidarity with Ukraine. However, his remarks resonate with a segment of the British public that questions the costs of the government's foreign policy commitments, especially at a time when domestic economic issues are mounting. By challenging the prevailing narrative on Ukraine, Farage is not only courting controversy but also carving out a distinctive position for Reform UK on foreign policy. The strategic recruitment of Andrea Jenkyns. The addition of Andrea Jenkyns to Reform UK's ranks is a significant milestone for the party. A vocal supporter of Brexit and a critic of the Conservative Party's direction, brings both political experience and a loyal following. Her candidacy for the Greater Lincolnshire mayor position is part of Farage's broader strategy to expand Reform UK's influence at the local and regional levels. This move also reflects Farage's ability to attract politicians who share his vision for a reformed political system. By aligning with figures like Jenkyns, he is reinforcing Reform UK's identity as a party that stands for bold, unapologetic leadership in the face of political inertia. Addressing economic challenges. Reform UK's policy agenda. At the core of Reform UK's platform is a commitment to economic reform. Farage has consistently criticised the government's handling of inflation, taxation, and public spending. He advocates for a flatter, simpler tax system, reduced bureaucracy, and greater accountability in public services. These policies are designed to appeal to voters who feel that the current political establishment has failed to deliver meaningful change. Additionally, Farage has emphasized the need for energy independence, arguing that Britain must invest in domestic energy production to reduce its reliance on foreign imports. This stance aligns with broader concerns about energy security and rising costs, making it a key issue for Reform UK's campaign. Farage's broader political strategy, a balancing act. Nigel Farage's approach is both bold and risky. On one hand, he is positioning Reform UK as a disruptive force in British politics, capable of challenging the dominance of the Conservative and Labour parties. On the other hand, he faces significant challenges, including the need to build a robust party infrastructure, attract a broader base of support, and navigate the complex dynamics of British politics. Farage's strategy relies heavily on his personal brand, which is both an asset and a liability. While his charisma and rhetorical skills have helped him, his polarizing nature limits his appeal to certain segments of the electorate. To succeed, Reform UK must balance its reliance on Farage's leadership with efforts to cultivate a broader, more inclusive identity. The road ahead, opportunities and challenges. Looking ahead, Reform UK faces both opportunities and challenges. The party's success in attracting high-profile figures like Andrea Jenkins and its growing influence in Scotland are positive signs. However, it must overcome significant hurdles, including limited financial resources, a lack of institutional support, and the entrenched dominance of the major parties. Moreover, Farage's controversial stances on issues like Ukraine could alienate potential supporters, even as they resonate with others. The challenge for Reform UK is to strike a balance between offering a bold alternative to the political establishment and maintaining broad appeal. Nigel Farage's latest moves underscore his determination to remain a central figure in British politics. By reshaping Reform UK, challenging conventional wisdom on foreign policy, and capitalizing on voter discontent, he is charting a path that could redefine the political landscape. Whether Reform UK can sustain its momentum and achieve lasting success remains to be seen. However, one thing is certain: Farage's ability to disrupt the status quo ensures that he will continue to be a force to be reckoned with in the years to come.